welcome to Opening Arguments, Vapid Response. This is number 4, if you can believe it.
Wow.
It is the 4th time we have assembled here. I'm Thomas, your host. That is Matt Cameron, real-life immigration attorney. How you doing, Matt?
Hey, guys. Look, sadly, we have to talk about my hometown paper today, Boston Globe. Not the best day for the Globe, but I'm doing okay.
I bet my hometown paper doesn't exist anymore. I'm sure it already was 2 guys or something in a computer back then, but now since Facebook killed all of journalism, there's no way it survived. And over there is my beautiful wife and producer,
Hello.
Lydia Smith. How you doing?
I am doing pretty well. Speaking of newspapers, they actually just demolished the old SACB headquarters here in Sacramento.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That was a great building, too.
I know. So sad. Like McClatchy bought them out and then they just demolished the entire building. So, yeah.
Well, that's a bummer to start out on.
Sorry. Support independent journalism.
Yeah, we're all you've got. Support Opening Arguments. Patreon.com/law. Why don't you give us a preview? What are we going to be talking about today besides your home newspaper?
Well, that's what we're talking about. We got a twofer. We got a doubleheader from the Boston Globe. They ran 2 totally boneheaded right-wing op-ed pieces back to back on the 13th and 14th of August on topics that we care about. So we're going to have to talk about those, but we've also got a fun little amuse douche from Tucker Carlson from January 18th, 2021. Tucker Carlson has some opinions about federal troops occupying D.C.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Talk about that first.
Was anything going on back then, like around that time?
Something in January, like a couple of things happened in January.
Have been high. Crime was probably a little high.
Yeah,
That's
you know
true.
DC. You know DC.
It was very localized crime.
One
DC.
specific spot. All right. Well, that's the Vapid we're going to be responding to this week. So why don't we take a little break for the podcast listeners, and then we'll get to it.
All right.
Freeze. Oh no. Okay. Now we're good. Okay. Unbreak. Let's get into it. Where do we start, Matt?
Well, since the Globe piece I wanted to start with is going to be about the National Guard situation, let's start just to have some fun with it up front with Tucker Carlson talking about his concerns about the National Guard in D.C., back when he cared about that. So this is Fox
we
News.
Want to start with that.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay.
January 18th, 2021, Tucker Carlson. Let's just get into it.
All right. Here he is.
Puerto Rico.
What's the timestamp on
Start
this
at the beginning.
Start at
just
the
straight up.
The very beginning. Okay. We're going to watch all 21 minutes, everyone.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson tonight. Our capital city, Washington, is under military occupation tonight.
Yes.
By inauguration day, there are expected to be more than 26,000 armed federal troops in Washington. No living American has seen a moment like the one we're watching now. 26,000 soldiers. That's more than 5 times the number of American military personnel currently stationed in Iraq and Afghanistan combined. That is more than twice the number of troops that President Lyndon Johnson ordered to Washington in April of 1968. In April of 1968, Washington, D.C. was literally on fire. Race riots had broken out after the assassination of Martin Luther King, whose memory we celebrate today. More than 1,000 people were injured in those riots, and at least 13 of them died.
You do.
Much of the Capitol was leveled, and it stayed that way, blocks of charred rubble, for decades. If you visited Washington in the 1990s, you remember what it looked like. But according to our current leaders, the so-called insurrection of January 6th was much worse than any of that. So far, here is the death toll from that day. A police officer was hit in the head by rioters, then later had a stroke and died at a local hospital. An unarmed protester was shot to death by authorities as she tried to climb through a window.
The real tragedy of the day.
A woman may have been trampled to death by the crowd.
No.
As of tonight, those are the 3 casualties we can confirm from the riot at the Capitol building on January 6th. In response to that, our leaders have assembled the largest military presence in Washington in all of American history.
Okay, just one second.
Yeah.
So to remind everybody, this is the period of time between January 6th and January 20th, 2021.
January 6th.
Yeah.
Right.
You notice this isn't
January
from
20th.
today because it has Fox News on it, and he doesn't work for Fox News.
He's no longer
anymore.
there. So there was that brief period of time for a few weeks where nobody knew what the hell was going to happen because we had just had a major insurrection in the Capitol. People had rushed it. And there was talk of anything else could happen in D.C. at the time of the inauguration because you still had all of these Americans who believed the election had been stolen, who might come and do whatever. I agree that was a huge show of force. That's way too many people probably, but we didn't know.
Did you check any of those numbers? Because I didn't I mean, do you think he was telling the truth? Who knows?
There were a lot of troops ahead of the inauguration.
Yeah,
there
sure.
usually are. I mean, that's not too unusual. But he's very, very, and I love the phrasing too, our leaders, because remember who's president, January 18th, 2021. This isn't the Democrats doing this.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Before the inauguration, meaning Trump was still president. Okay.
Yeah. He's very concerned about that. So let's go a little further. And because he really has to try to finesse this to make it seem like somehow this is Democrats that have done all this.
Right.
Oh, okay.
They're occupying the Capitol.
In 1864, as the Civil War raged on the other side of the Potomac, and Americans died every day in large numbers in battle, there were fewer federal troops protecting Washington, D.C. than
they were busy.
No, how many,
and it's truly
how many
national...
people were in the country that, like, you can't compare the troops we had in 1864 to now? Like,
I mean, honestly, that was my position too when he was bringing up the 60s. Like, there's been significant population growth. Like, that's just disingenuous. But like, honestly, yeah, I think a lot of people were probably busy fighting in a war, so they didn't have a lot of folks that they could just station to stand around at the Capitol.
They didn't have a National Guard either, but you know,
it's just how many days was that after January 6th? A whole 12 or something?
Yeah.
And it's
we
like
had no
they
idea
already
what might be coming next.
I remember, you know how we had the whole, and I still remember this, after 9/11, that like period of time that I couldn't tell you how long it lasted now in retrospect, but it was at least a week or two where everybody in the country was kind of on the same page for a minute. It was weird. It was really weird. It was kind of cool, but it was bad in the end. But like it felt like, wow, we're on the same page. We got that after January 6th for 2 hours. I don't know. We did get it. Like the Republicans came on and were like, this is a disgrace. Like, I can't believe this is happening. Maybe it was a day. What do you think? It was a little bit of time, but that's it. And then after that,
so-called insurrection 12 days later.
Yep. Gaslighting.
Yep.
Let's
that
get
was
a little more. Oops, sorry.
That was another layer to the journey we've been on into fascism, where you see like, oh, they can justify anything. They can justify anything. You thought for January 6th that, okay, they're not going to do it, especially because Trump lost. Yeah. You know, it was like
their opportunity to break away.
Yeah. Just be done with this, everybody. Just Republicans, just be done with this. You could be done. You could have been done.
Yeah.
And nope. They took a few days and then they're like, nope, we're back to, there was nothing. What happened on January 6th? It was tourism.
Force. The guardsmen you see in Washington have come from every state in the Union, as well as from Puerto Rico. And the question is, why is that? There's no practical or operational justification for it. For decades, Washington, D.C. has had the highest per capita law enforcement presence in the country and one of the highest in the world. So there was no need to fly in troops from Alaska
Interesting point,
to
Tucker
keep the
Carlson.
city safe. But keeping the city safe
a lot of cops in
was
D.C.
hardly
already.
the point of the exercise. The murder rate in the District of Columbia has risen with terrifying speed over the last 6 months. Men, women, and children shot to death in the streets.
6 months is not
but no one in
a
charge
reasonable
seems to
amount of
care
time
about
to
that
look
or
at
even notice their
trends.
deaths.
Well, COVID.
So no matter what they are telling you, those 26,000 federal troops are not there for your safety. Instead, unmistakably, the Democratic Party is using those troops to send the rest of us a message about power.
How do we do that?
We're in charge now.
Power.
We run this nation from Honolulu to our colony in the Caribbean and everything in between, very much including where you and your family live. Do not question us. Men with guns enforce our decrees. We control the Pentagon. And indeed, they do control the Pentagon. Republicans have spent years ignoring the leftward drift of our officer corps, but we can't ignore it now. The mask is off. Our military leadership, the very same generals who howled at the idea of deploying American troops to stop an invasion of our southern border, those same generals sent tens of thousands of soldiers with rifles to Washington purely as a show of force on behalf of the political party they support. And once they did that, they then allowed Democratic politicians to degrade and politicize the military itself. Democrats in Congress demanded that the troops sent to Washington this week submit to a political purity test, ideological vetting, as they put it, to make certain that every soldier professed loyalty to the new regime. Not loyalty to our country, not loyalty to our Constitution, but loyalty to the aims of a
That's
specific
probably bad enough, but I did want to point out that one person who did fail that test ahead of the inauguration was Peter Brian Hegseth. because of his white nationalist tattoos. But again, as we've discussed before, to call the National Guard out in D.C., it has to be one of three people. And the Pentagon in this case were the people that called it up. So that is, again, Donald Trump's government that thought it might be a good idea after a bunch of people tried to take over the Capitol who thought the election had been stolen to maybe call up, more people to protect the Capitol ahead of a major event there in which the person that a bunch of people thought was not the legitimate president was being sworn in.
Yeah.
So there you go. But I love that line about how this is a show of force from the Democratic Party with men and guns in the streets occupying D.C.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
Man.
Strange.
Did they stay there after? I remember they stayed there for the whole presidency. They just.
Oh yeah, he goes on about that. About watch out, Biden's going to keep them there, and they'll be there forever.
Sure. Yeah, because that's what Democrats love. They just love the military and
in the streets.
It's amazing how every part of this is funny in retrospect. Trump has completely gutted everything and turned it political, and it's like the idea. I can't even believe they would say that. Republicans have ignored how woke the military has gotten. What?
And then combine it with, and then also sending in a bunch of people with guns into a city. Isn't that the warrior mindset that that they're telling us that they want? Yeah.
Well, I will tell you, I did check. Tucker Carlson, of course, has had nothing to say about men with guns in the city now.
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
Even in today's show, where he's talking about how much longer it's going to take for totalitarianism to come to an effect. I actually listened to a bit of it, and he didn't mention anything to do with any of these call-ups. He's more worried about the way that Democrats are still importing people. That's the real totalitarianism.
Is that what I was going to say? What does he even mean? Is he's not anti-Trump, right? I mean, he's like
no,
I know he's had some independent streaks, but he means totalitarianism of us somehow. How are we doing that? Tucker, I want to know, actually. Can you give me some tips?
Zero power.
Because how are we doing that? That's incredible.
Anti-totalitarianism.
Well done. Are we all just thinking in our mind like we're using the force or something?
Yeah.
What is the right? What is the left? What power do we have? How could we be doing it?
We're not using
it.
Zero does not make total, so I don't really know how that's supposed to be.
So it's a fun little time machine there, just to look back on Tucker Carlson's opinion about the exact thing that's happening right now. Obviously not 26,000 troops, but of course, as we know, just to set this up,
right.
Both of these pieces we're about to read have aged about as badly as an op-ed can possibly age in 5 days. I mean, this is really,
right.
These things are very young op-eds, and they have both aged so badly because, of course, since the time of what we're about to read, Ohio and South Carolina, I think among other states, have sent, for no reason, troops into D.C. Let's talk about our next piece here from the Boston Globe on the 13th of August. This is Heather MacDonald, not Heather McDonald, folks. Make sure to check that byline. That is Heather MacDonald. She changed her name and added a space between Mac and Donald.
She changed her name. And then she later reflected on it, and she's like, that was probably a mistake.
But, you don't forget it. You meet a Heather MacDonald, it might go through you. But you remember Heather MacDonald. So good work there, I guess, Heather.
MacDonald. Does this have anything to do with anything or just trivia?
Just talking about the author.
I do think it's important. I was thinking about saving this to the end, but I'm gonna lay it all out there so we know what we're gonna get into.
I think it's
just
important to know who she is.
High level stuff about Heather MacDonald. She's very pro police, incredibly pro police. She's very conservative. She's a fellow at the Manhattan Institute, which folks might be familiar with if they follow Christopher Rufo at all. And just a little kind of crossover for you, Matt. And she had a testimony to Congress in 2005, and she claimed that 95% of outstanding homicide warrants in LA were for undocumented immigrants, and that 75% of LA's most wanted list comprised undocumented immigrants. And PolitiFact and Snopes both looked into that, and they found no evidence for either assertion. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So they asked her, they said, well, where did you come up with this number? And she said that they were a, quote, rough estimate given to her by an unnamed member of the LA Police Department.
Oh, okay. Sure.
So get ready to trust the numbers that she's putting in here, folks.
Why don't we live in a world in which if you do that once, it should be like, okay, you don't get to write things anymore? Because that's so, what are you talking about? You just lied. It's a made up thing.
So this is like, a big piece for her. She also is like decries the, systemic racism. She thinks that that's all fake. She thinks that Black people are not killed disproportionately to white people by police. You
don't get to just think that. That's not correct. Sorry.
She will find statistics
Incorrect.
to kind of like prove her case. And she also is very anti-LGBTQ because there were some emails that were FOIA'd somehow. I think via Claremont McKenna or something, some relationship she had going on there. And she was talking about Peter Thiel's gay marriage, and she used quotes around it.
Sure.
And then talked about how, extramarital affairs, it's like common with gay people, and just went off about that, making fun of his partner. And then the other thing that she's been going off about a lot lately is the feminization of our country and how horrible things are going to be because of that, because we are losing masculinity in America.
When I look at our country and their leaders, one thing I think is just too many women.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a skirt right now. Very comfortable.
So this is who wrote this op-ed, and we're going to get into it.
So, tech note, Matt, your video is freezing and grainy now. Is there any internet thing that happened to you? Anything you could take a look at while Lydia's reading, maybe?
No, I'm sorry. It looks like I'm clear, but
you
just want to go ahead.
Completely.
Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you okay, but the video, I can even see it in the browser too. Like it's something's up with the internet. It started fine. All right.
Okay. Trump
going to read this?
Yeah, Trump is right to send the National Guard to Washington. The reaction of Democratic politicians and the mainstream media to Trump's announcement exemplifies...
Did you want to read the subtitle there?
That's what I'm reading right now.
I see. Trump's deployment is both.
Oh, weird. I have an archive link. That's why.
Oh, They changed it? Okay. Give us this one currently, and then give us yours.
Okay. So the current one says Trump's deployment is both within his constitutional authority and a justified use of federal law enforcement power to correct what should be an intolerable situation.
Okay.
And in mine, it says the reaction of Democratic politicians and the mainstream media to Trump's announcement exemplifies the defining deviance down reflex. Man, that is tough to say.
What? Okay, I see why they changed it.
Yeah.
The defining deviance. What?
Yeah. So that is, she gets into it a little bit, but
no, say the phrase. What is
defining deviance down? Is
we're tolerating
what it's
more
called.
deviance.
Yeah.
It's
sure.
Yeah. I wonder if anything else has changed now.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Well, shoot. Okay. The era of defining crime deviancy down is over. That is the most important message to come out of President Trump's deployment of the National Guard to Washington, D.C. The late Democratic Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan of New York coined the phrase, quote, defining deviancy down in 1993 to describe the normalizing of antisocial behavior in contemporary America.
I go to 1993 to get all my chill takes on crime in America.
Exactly.
And
so disingenuous off the bat, right?
Sure.
And like what you would see in the 1990s for crime, mental illness, like all of those things, all the challenges, and comparing it to 2025, unbelievable. Levels of deviancy, once regarded as unacceptable, become the new norm, hardly worthy of attention.
So that's worth mentioning in the context of, sending the National Guard in to regulate crime in a city. I think that's pretty deviant, frankly. I mean, you can apply everything she's saying so far to the very fact of the thing that they're doing. I just want to point that out.
Trump rejects that reflex. Quote, I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse, he said on Monday.
A lot of things.
He listed a lot of things, but had to also add and worse. Yeah. Just in case. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. About 100 to 200 National Guard soldiers will provide administrative and logistical support for local law enforcement at any given time. They might also station themselves at intersections to passively deter lawlessness through what is known as, quote, command presence. Additionally...
Intersections? Just like... There's a lot of just random lawlessness at intersections.
I think it's because then they can be at crosswalks.
If they start making sure people use turn signals, I might be going over to Trump's side on this one. I don't know.
Additionally, Trump temporarily installed the head of the Drug Enforcement Administration to oversee the Metropolitan Police Department.
For like 10 hours, yeah, until a judge told them not to, and they agreed.
Oh, really?
Actually.
Wow.
How does that work? And temporarily installed the head of the DEA to oversee the police. That can't be.
He has no authority to do that. And the judge, so this is actually, I will say, this is one small encouraging thing, is that Pam Bondi had to agree within the space of a day to back down and to let them run their own police department. But just to remind everybody, under the Home Rule Act, what he can actually do is direct the law enforcement, the Metropolitan Police. That's it. I can get the actual section here, but it is when there's a state of emergency, an emergency nature, special conditions of an emergency nature, which require the use of the Metropolitan Police Force for federal purposes, not just because he doesn't like that there are people sleeping in the street in D.C., not just because he doesn't like the homicide rate in D.C., right? It has to be for federal purposes. So they're doing the usual thing that they do with CBP and ICE, where they're kind of hiding behind the fact that you got to protect personnel and property. And there is a lot more federal personnel and property in D.C. than other places, obviously.
Sure.
But that's the law for what it's worth. And she's not talking about the law at all in this article, you might notice. Right. She doesn't talk about what the actual controlling law is. She's just saying what she thinks he should do. I mean, just the passiveness of like, well, he temporarily installed the head of the DEA. Like, that's just a thing you do. Why not? Let him run the police. Sure. That's what we're doing. Yeah. So...
The reaction of Democratic politicians and the mainstream media to Trump's announcement exemplifies the defining deviance down reflex.
Oh, is that the old subtitle?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Many news stories have noted that crime has decreased in D.C. over the past 2 years, as if the fact rebutted the grounds for the federal action. We are, quote, we are not experiencing a crime spike, Mayor Muriel Bowser said in objection to the president's order.
Yeah.
The implication, she and other D.C. officials have the situation under control.
Yeah.
The National Guard deployment is nothing more than an authoritarian power grab, we are to believe.
Oh, okay, good.
We do believe,
but
yes.
unironically. Yeah, what do you...
That is what we
you
believe.
Just say all the stuff that counters your argument and be like, they think that counters my argument. What's the but? Here we go. What's the, how she...
I want to notice again, defining deviance down, like as if coming out and saying we're not experiencing a crime spike, which is literally true, as we've talked about on OA, of course, that this is a lowest period in 30 years. I mean, again, crime is not good in D.C. They have real problems. I'm sure we'll talk about it, but it is not to the point that the federal government has to intervene. And the fact that she's saying we're not experiencing a crime spike, the way that this is set up, as if this rebutted the grounds for the federal action, as if the federal action was originally justified and then could be rebutted, right? It has no justification to begin with. You don't rebut something that is just wrong to begin with.
Yeah, who's got the burden of proof there?
Right, exactly. The burden of the following the law has not been met. So, yeah. So the next section has a bunch of examples of crime in D.C., which, they're terrible examples. They're terrible things that nobody would want to be.
Is what
crime
they are.
is down?
Yes.
Well, then how is it that I'm able to find examples of individual crimes?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Checkmate.
she lists 4 examples that exploit these, pretty terrible deaths of individuals, a number of whom are children. 2 are from this year, and then the second 2 are from last year.
Okay,
Right.
yeah.
And we don't need
There's
to read it.
crime exists.
Yeah.
Crime exists, everyone.
And this is the kind of crime you could see in Seattle or New York City or Baltimore or St. Louis, lots of other cities.
Memphis.
Cleveland, by the way.
Yeah.
Cleveland has a higher rate of violent crime right now, and that's one of the states, Ohio, that's sending people to D.C. National Guard. So
I think you need your folks.
Yeah.
Keep them there. So we're going to skip over that because no one needs to read those details.
It's unfortunate.
Media coverage of Trump's National Guard call-out has all but ignored these incidents. They have become an unremarkable part of America's urban fabric that now includes flash mobs. Time out. When I read that, I literally thought she was talking about the dancing.
Yeah, I can only think she means
and
that.
It's not that, but that's all I was picturing. I was like, wow, okay.
Man. But those were really fucking stupid, though. I'm glad we got over that. When
Just
was
a threat
that?
to
The early
decency everywhere.
2010s?
Yeah.
Yeah, they thought it was so, the early internet, the early viral internet. Ooh, let's all do a flash. No. Once again, if that were a big problem, I would be coming over to Trump's side.
Oh my gosh.
We need to put an end to these spontaneous dance routines people are doing.
Yeah. Vicious and gratuitous pedestrian assaults and mass looting. Although violent crime in Washington decreased last year, the city daily experienced nearly 10 violent crimes, nearly 6 robberies, nearly 3 assaults with a dangerous weapon, and over 14 car thefts in a population of just over 700,000.
Okay.
In the first 10 months of 2023, nearly 3 juveniles a day were shot. The city's homicide rate in 2024 was 27.3 deaths per 100,000 residents.
Tell me what this troop thing does for that.
Right.
What does that do?
And
Yeah.
yeah. And again, if you're going to send, if this is the justification, then you also have to send troops into Memphis, New Orleans, St. Louis, Baltimore, Cleveland, and Detroit, all of which have higher homicide rates right now. I did check. And again, I'm not saying this is great. This is not an ideal situation. This is definitely, and also it's an argument about gun control more than anything, because these are gun crimes that we're talking about. And of course, I'll point out that the entire project of getting the idea that you have a Second Amendment individual right to own a firearm started in D.C. with Heller, because they wanted to make sure everybody in D.C. could have a gun, and this is what we have. But no, I mean, this is a high homicide rate. I will say, Boston, Deep Blue City, had 24 homicides last year total. It's one of the safest cities in the country.
Wow.
And I'm going to submit it's because we do actually have good
But
social
what if
programs.
I individually name what they were, Matt, and say who it was?
You could get some
Steve
pretty bad examples.
Johnson, shot. He's dead.
Yeah.
And now you're going to tell me there's only 24 homicides, even though I named one of them, Matt?
Sounds like crime to me.
Idiot.
But, I will say, because, they like to talk about how dangerous Democrat cities are. But, we have real problems in Boston, obviously. But we have a very
There's
low
no
rate.
connection to what this is. What this
No.
is there any? I get that it's National Guard, right? It's like
Right.
that has had to be mobilized at times when there's been mass riots or stuff like that, which I get. I get when you get to a point where literally there's lawlessness. But it's never, I'm just going to say this and you tell me if I'm wrong. Has it ever been used when people are like, well, the crime's a little high over here? No. Because what does it do? It's not connected to anything. The only thing they can do is massive crowd control stuff. What are they investigating the crimes? Are they doing detective work? What are they doing?
It's a power play, right? I think it's because he's
I know, but
able
we're meeting this idiot on her own terms.
Yeah.
And so what does this have to do with anything? We know it's fascism, but this moron that we're responding to, who's vapid, is trying to say that yes, this is justified because look at crimes. I can name a few of them. What are they doing to stop that? What is the even hypothetical way in which they're stopping this? Just by being around people I was going to do a drive-by today. I'm not going to do it because there's some troops.
Yeah, I sent you a thing on the Slack for a Blue Sky video, and it's just these, National Guard, I guess, or members of the DEA, FBI, Metropolitan Police Department. They're just kind of walking around Georgetown, and everyone's like, "What is happening here?"
Do we want to try to see? So it's on Blue Sky here. Let me see if I can make it happen. What's with the music?
I don't know. I think they're walking outside restaurants and stuff.
Oh,
Italian restaurant. Just hanging out. Yeah, intersections.
That ought to do
Running
it.
our intersections.
Yeah, and using the crosswalk.
Hey, is anyone a criminal here? No? Okay. Go about your day.
Moving on.
Man. A guy just came up for the podcast listeners. They walked by a restaurant, and then a guy came out looking at him like, what are you...
They're modeling good pedestrian behavior.
Yeah.
They're all masked, I want to point out. Just really creepy.
A couple brave ones there.
Yeah.
So it's just this. It's just this. No, it didn't loop.
It's still going.
But
yeah.
it's
It's creepy.
Excuse me. Can someone point me to all the criminals? Where's the next shooting going to happen? Can someone point me to that? Oh, broken. Are those windows broken? Or are they supposed to be?
They're not investigating, so I guess not.
Oh, that's really loud. Let me turn that down.
Yeah.
Just
They're not investigating. They're just
doing
walking
history
by.
term.
This is just some genius followed them.
My thought
Oh,
is,
hold on.
there's not much going on here, so maybe they're practicing.
practicing walking.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's
Walking
fine.
home.
Yeah, the rest of it's just that. So
That was worth it, though. That's worth it.
Yeah.
That's
So
good visuals.
how many these assholes they got in this town anyhow?
She's
Like,
underselling that too. So there's 800 like that they sent so far. There's more coming through and she didn't, at the time she was writing, the states hadn't sent them yet, but South Carolina and Ohio have sent people. But she's saying there's 1 or 200 at a time going out, which is true, but they're cycling through, 800 people.
You know, it reminds me of one of my favorite movies that I'm going to pretend Ted Cruz has never seen, which is The Princess Bride. And when he's like, how many people do we have guarding the front gate? 30, double it or whatever. Yeah. And then he shows this scene and it's just like 50 guys just standing, like looking, like just like at the front of the gate. Like, what are you? Okay.
Just standing there.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's like that. Yeah. You're just, what is this going to do? They should bring in 700,000 people to actually be the citizens, the new citizens of Washington, D.C. And then they won't be criminals. And then now you've solved it. No more crime.
Cycle people in and people out. Yeah.
Everyone has to go out.
This seems like a good time to mention a post from another Boston Globe regular columnist, a much better one, Kimberly Atkins Storr, also on Sisters in the Law, pretty decent podcast. I just want to point out, this is a very important voice, and she's subtweeting her own newspaper. She writes for the Globe Opinion section sometimes, much better pieces than this.
It's funny how many times we've had to see that happen lately, like in the New York Times too.
Yeah, totally. She put, please, do not, in caps, do not normalize or explain away armed military engaged in law enforcement in an American city. If it doesn't seem that off base or unusual to you, perhaps it's because you are not the target of this. This has been an exhausting week of to-be-sures, which do nothing but give credence to a completely bogus justification for an autocratic, armed military takeover of the nation's capital, which is targeting communities and residents of color. Please, just stop it. And that is a perfect response to this entire piece. And I really agree with you, Thomas, what you just said. I was almost kind of going down the road of being like, well, there's other cities that are more dangerous. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter. This is not a reason to send military in. And it's just good to go back and read that comment because I have to reorient myself there. Right. We don't need to respond point by point to the fact that crime is worse in other places because this is bogus. She's right. Of course.
Yeah. So weird.
Well, we're going to get some more comparisons, though. So by comparison, if you want to pull it up, I'll just get started.
Oh, sorry. I had it up for me. Yeah, sure.
By comparison, London's homicide rate in 2023 was 1.3 per 100,000 residents.
Is there any difference between us and other countries, though, that might account for something like this?
Some sort of policy difference, perhaps?
Yeah.
Well, and so then she levels that here with Switzerland's homicide rate. So Switzerland does have, they have guns. They have a different gun culture. But
regulations.
In 2021 was 0.48 per 100,000 residents. Anywhere else in the industrialized world, the DC crime situation.
Why are the 2 different years there?
She does this all the time. It's going to happen later on in the article as well. Like she just jumps around all over the place.
Okay, but did anyone check, like, is she very intentionally doing that in ways that will...
No,
obviously show it's no.
Not sure. It could just be that was what she could find. But I mean, also she gets her data from unnamed police members.
LAPD.
So you don't think she's cherry picking?
No, I think she likely is. I just can't say for sure. All right,
I'm the only
you
one
do
who's
it.
Researching.
Anywhere else in the industrialized world, the DC crime situation would constitute a national emergency. It should in the United States too.
Again, if this is your qualification, there are other cities. Sorry to say that again, but there are other cities in the U.S. where it's a lot worse. But onward.
Any luck, or you want me to keep going?
No,
all right.
Said keep going.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Why would you?
Trump's rhetoric undoubtedly strikes the elite ear as hyperbolic and gauche. After a member of the Department of Government Efficiency was assaulted by a large group of teenagers on August 3rd, big balls, everybody. If you didn't catch it, it was big balls. Trump posted that juveniles in Washington were, quote, randomly attacking, mugging, maiming, and shooting innocent citizens, at the same time knowing that they will be almost immediately released. One is not supposed to speak that way, yet Trump's post describes a reality. Adolescent carjackers and robbers rack up long rap sheets while serving little to no prison time. On October 17th, 2023, 5 girls in Washington, ages 12 to 15, assaulted a 64-year-old man with cancer who weighed about 110 pounds. The girls filmed themselves laughing as they stomped and kicked Reggie Brown to death while he lay helpless on the ground. The longest any of the 5 will be held is until the age of 21, but several will be out of detention long before then.
And so the troops would hold them in detention longer.
Yeah.
The troops would
shoot. What they would do is the troops form their own jail around the girl, like they link arms. They're like, we're doing more prison for you because there's not enough.
I just want to point out the focus on juveniles very quickly. Reminded me so much of the Super Predators thing from the 90s. And I
Yeah.
went back and found actually James A. Fox, unfortunately, from Northeastern, not Northeastern's finest, using data from Fox, I should say. John DeLuca was one of the guys that was responsible for the Super Predators thing. He predicted by the year 2000, because of all the kinds of, and using almost exactly the same language you just read, there'd be a sharp increase in the number of super crime-prone young males, that we're going to have a massive bomb of crime in the 2000s. Just didn't happen. We've had nothing but decreasing crime all the way down throughout the 2000s. So, again, this is just another cycle of this stuff.
See, Trump's deployment is both within his constitutional authority and a justified use of federal law enforcement power to correct what should be an intolerable situation.
Notice how she doesn't use the legal standard, which is an actual emergency, is what is required. It's just like it's fine. It's this is a bad situation, so it's justified.
Yeah, and justified use of federal law enforcement, but she never explains how it's justified. We get
Or what the
four
standard is.
examples. Yeah, it's lazy.
She named some individual crimes. What more do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Nevertheless,
There
Brian
should have been troops there to gun down those 5 girls ages 12 to 15.
That's right. Take them out.
Nevertheless, Brian Schwab, Attorney General of the District of Columbia, called Trump's actions, quote, unlawful and promised to, quote, do what is necessary to protect the rights and safety of district residents. The National Guard does not threaten the rights and safety of D.C. residents. Criminals do. Had city officials felt more urgency about their most fundamental obligation, safeguarding law and order, they would not be facing a temporary takeover of their public safety duties. Whether a 30-day deployment can dent the habits of the city's vandals and thugs remains to be seen, but many Americans likely cheered Trump's mobilization order as, quote, liberation from paralyzing official passivity and from a suffocating taboo on speaking the truth about urban crime.
Well, she's right about that. There are a lot
I
of
wouldn't give a
fascists.
shit about many Americans. I would care about the people in D.C. most of all.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people who are actually going to be
not people
impacted.
like her. I love the taboo about speaking the truth on urban crime. Means that she definitionally is talking about like the rednecks and, all the Republican Trumpers that are not there and are talking about urban crime, like.
They're terrified of cities.
That's whose opinion she thinks matters here.
Right.
Is other people's opinion about DC.
Yeah, DC residents are not happy about it, from what I've seen. And as Tucker Carlson, expert on DC, noted up front, he was correct when he said that DC is already one of the most overpoliced cities in the country. So I don't know what adding more cops was supposed to do.
Why hasn't that solved it? That should.
Yeah.
I thought
Right.
if you add more police, then it solves the crime, right?
Talked about this on Fridays Away, but yeah, so many cops. Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about when the executive order was issued, the White House also issued a fact sheet, and Radley Balco
Yes.
did a great breakdown of this. We can link to that in the show notes of the fact sheet to kind of basically go through what the White House is claiming and then fact checking all of them. So I'm just going to share a couple of those things right here. So he says that one of the bullet points is in 2024, Washington, D.C. saw a homicide rate of 27.3 per 100,000 residents, what McDonald just cited in her piece as well. That was the fourth highest homicide rate in the country, nearly 6 times higher than New York City and also higher than Atlanta, Chicago, and Compton. And then Radley writes, nope, the Link study is only a sampling of 23 cities. It does not purport to be a list of the 23 most dangerous or murderous or crime-ridden cities. It does not purport to be a comprehensive list of any kind. The point of the study was to compare year-over-year statistics among a diverse selection of cities around the country. DC's homicide rate was the fourth highest out of these 23 cities, not out of all U.S. cities.
Yeah.
And then he also says that it fails to contextualize the figure for 2024 and how it compares over time to 2023, and that it dropped again this year. Then another one, if Washington, D.C. was a state, it would have the highest homicide rate of any state in the nation. And then he says, this is true of nearly every large city in the country.
Yeah.
Most cities have higher crime rates than most states because cities have more density.
Yeah.
That'll happen.
Yeah. And so he goes on, but he does end with something that I think, if we're going to be fair about this, he says, none of this is to diminish the crime that does occur in D.C. The city still has one of the higher crime rates in the country, but this has always been the case.
I'm so sick of this.
Well, I think this is
Okay,
fair,
sorry, go
though.
ahead.
This has always been the case. And there are lots of possible explanations for it, most of which are too complicated and nuanced to get into here. But here's what we can say for certain. DC's crime rate has not spun, quote, out of control. DC's crime rate is not the fault of permissive, progressive crime policy, nor is it the fault of the current city leadership. Crime in DC is actually falling. A surge of heavily armed troops is not going to fix any of DC's problems, and it certainly won't make residents more trustful of law enforcement.
Yeah,
And-
fair enough. Let's do the thing where, we need to stop even having the debate on the terms that aren't the debate. We're responding to this idiot's article, but
Right.
when it comes to the wider dialogue here, even her article again is part of that, where it's taking for granted the idea that putting troops in a place has any connection to crime. There's no connection. I'm so sick of the thing we do. Well, hey, the crime is, let's be done with that. We don't need to grant crime is high place and people don't like crime. No, there's no fucking connection between crime and what he's doing. Zero. There's no connection. It's fake.
The whole point of this is to get us used to the idea of putting federal troops in just because they say there's an emergency. That's why they're doing it. And for us to sit here, and so I do want to make the point, though, about defining deviancy down, which is something that Daniel Patrick Moynihan did write about crime. Just from his original piece, I just wanted to pull it up. By defining what is deviant, we are enabled to know what is not, and hence to live by shared standards. And I want to submit to you that this is deviant. What he's doing is deviant, right?
Yeah.
With the National Guard. This is not how it's supposed to work. And we need to define it as deviant. And if we continue to quibble about whether or not it's, the right time to send troops in for over crime, then I'm totally with you. So
that's the whole debate. So if the crime rate were worse, then that's the problem with all this. When you go into this analysis, well, it's actually not the fourth worst city. And I get it. I mean, we want to debunk the stupid crap they put out, but I think we just get locked into that. And I think that largely what we need to say is this is bullshit. It has no connection to crime.
It's
whatsoever.
deviant. It's actually deviant from what we're supposed to do.
You disgusting deviants.
We're deviating.
We don't need to. When this happens, when Trump does X, whatever the thing is, and he's doing it for fascism, or he's doing it as a distraction from Epstein, which is also a big part of it. Whatever he's doing, and he says, well, I'm doing X because Y. We don't need to have a debate about whether Y is true. We just don't. It has he's not doing it because of Y.
Right.
It's always some other bullshit. And once we do that thing where we say, well, actually the crime rate is a little high. Well, it's not that high. Then the implication is that if it were a little higher, this would make sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't ever make sense.
Right.
It's so stupid.
There's no rebellion. There's no insurrection, which are the things you're supposed to send troops in for. There's no national emergency.
Like the thing that Tucker Carlson the time you would send troops is if there's, an insurrection. That would be a good time.
Insurrection. Yes. Yeah. Such an important point, as always, Thomas, with the moral clarity there of just and the previous post I read as well, just we should not be taking this on its terms. I wanted to pull one of these. There were lots of stupid reactions, but I wanted to just pull one of these to show. And again, just come on, Boston Globe, come on. You have perfectly good local columnists, and you've back to back. We're about to read another very stupid article, but both of these idiots are not people that need to be published in the Boston Globe or anywhere, but especially not one of the leading papers in one of the bluest cities. Come on. That's So we should come back on the second idiot here.
All right. Well, we'll take a break. We'll take a quick podcast break here, and I'm going to stay mad. Don't worry. I'll stay plenty mad. Viewers can watch me stay mad, and then we'll take on this second article.
All right.
So a second stupid opinion piece has struck the Boston Globe. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
In 24 hours. So bad.
Oh my God.
I will point out these authors have a lot in common. They're both very much part of the Heritage Claremont kind of cabal. They have both published books within a couple of years of each other about how multicultural and diversity are ruining America, just coincidentally.
God.
So, yeah. But this headline, as soon as I saw this headline and that last headline, I knew we had to do this. I mean, this was written, and again, talk about aging badly. This was written 24 hours before the summit in Alaska that Trump just completely blew, right?
Yeah.
Just
Nothing happened.
letting
the headline is Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. He deserved it during his first term. He deserves it even more today. So who's this idiot bootlicker? John J. Miller.
John J. Miller out of Hillsdale College.
Of course.
But
Mr. Fascist.
he also is the founder of the College Fix, which we've spent a lot of time talking about on Where There's Woke. And he's also the founder of the 501c3 that funds it, Student Free Press Association. And there's a really good piece I have here. Let me see. This is from Faculty First Responders, which is an organization headed by Isaac Kamola that we interviewed on Where There's Woke, a year and a half ago. It's been a while. Who funds College Fix? Between 2012 and 2019, Student Free Press Association received $1.8 million from Koch Family Foundations, the Bradley Foundation, and Donors Trust and Donors Capital Fund. Today, and then this is, a couple years ago, their board of directors includes many donors with longstanding connections to the Koch network, including the president of Art Pope's Charitable Foundation and the son of Betsy and Dick DeVos. He recently stepped down when that was brought to light, and John Miller said it was his fault for not disclosing that. So this is an organization for people who don't know, the College Fix and other entities like it, like Campus Reform, employ conservative students and basically pay them like $50 a piece to out how the liberals are taking over their college campuses. And so he is really behind this because
I laugh, but it's fucking worked.
It has.
It's worked. They've done this for over a decade and a half at least.
Yeah, and this is one of the main people behind that strastrategy.
Can we do something on the left somehow? Like, okay, students, I'll pay you $50 if you find a really shitty conservative. It just doesn't really work, but like, there's got to be something we could do, to really blow the lid off these racists.
Yeah. And, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about him. I mean, I think you guys all get the picture, but he does have a website. I went on it, and the last item on his website says he lives on a dirt road in rural Michigan. So there you have it.
On a dirt road.
Credentials. Okay.
Yeah. He has to get that conservative,
What a weird thing to say. Where do you live?
Very strange.
On a dirt road in rural Michigan?
Yeah, I think it's like, because he has, he's a journalist, he writes all these things, he's affiliated with all these like entities and stuff, like really needing to distance himself from the idea of like being a conservative elite, I guess, and just saying he lives on a dirt road. So.
Okay.
And he's being published in the Boston Globe, so good for him.
There's probably a dirt road that leads into Mark Zuckerberg's compound island in Hawaii. Like he probably has a dirt road there. Like it doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't really mean anything to me.
All right,
so
we're ready to get to this
piece really
one?
does live up to its headline. Now let's do it. This is very stupid.
Here we go.
All right. President Trump deserved the Nobel Peace Prize during his first term. He will deserve it even more after Friday's summit meeting in Alaska if he successfully persuades President Vladimir Putin of Russia to abandon the war that he launched against Ukraine 3.5 years ago.
What about any of the Earth made you think that was going to happen? Like what input is going into your brain?
Yeah,
that would make you think, guys, if he does this, which he might. What are you talking about?
You put that in writing 24 hours before the summit. That's a huge swing. Like he's going to end the war.
That's what tells me these people must believe it or something, because that's a hell of a thing to say.
Man.
Really, like so many things we read, you should lose all credibility after reading something like this, but no, he will not.
The case for Trump's prize begins in the Middle East.
Famously, very peaceful right now.
Its people and nations now enjoy a rare opportunity for a better future because of Trump's effective diplomacy.
This is psychotic optimism.
Wow.
This is absolutely psychotic to think that there's a possibility of a better future in the Middle East right now.
Yeah.
A rare
because
opportunity.
of Trump?
It's honestly
let alone
evil.
At all, but
like knowing everything that's happening right now over there, that has been happening over there right now. It's like honestly an evil take. It's not even vapid. It's just evil.
Maybe he doesn't have good Wi-Fi at his dirt road. Maybe he's he's
behind by a few
no cable.
decades. Yeah.
The present hopefulness began in 2020 with the advent of the Abraham Accords, a set of remarkable agreements that normalized relations between Israel and 4 Arab nations, Bahrain and the United Arab Emirates at the outset, Morocco and Sudan joined later.
So we do have to talk about the Abraham Accords real quick.
Yes.
I think you're probably familiar, but just a bunch of agreements with countries that weren't actually at war with Israel that arguably might have actually made things a lot worse. And certainly by the time things got going with genocide, made it a lot worse because now you have a bunch of countries that are getting paid off a lot of money to be friendly with Israel or at least to continue trade deals with them.
Right.
I'm sure you have more to say too, but these were all basically giant bribes from the United States.
Yeah, from my reading, there are several analysts that feel that the October 7th Hamas attack was partly motivated to derail this Saudi Arabia-Israel normalization because they thought that was going to happen. They didn't want that to happen. And and specifically, quoted as one of the reasons for the attack.
Well, I don't want to put, I don't want to use Hamas as our guideline for
no.
Therefore, this was a bad deal because Hamas was against it or something.
No, I don't think so. But, the basically looking at the war and how it has played out since then, to Matt's point, these countries a lot of them are speaking out and saying they're not okay with what's happening, but they continue economically to support Israel, to continue their trade deals, to, do all of the things behind the scenes. And then just they have the rhetoric to say that what they don't like is what's happening that is something that they don't like. And I think if these weren't there, it would probably allow the countries to maybe, I don't know, stand up a little bit more seriously. Instead of just abandoning all Palestinians. Is that your chair
clicking? I can't.
No, that was mine. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it. And none of these countries have ever been at war with Israel or attacked them. These are all just kind of the Abraham Accords are the one thing that Trump holds up as the one diplomatic thing he did.
It finally put an end to the Israel-Morocco war.
And Bahrain,
was going on.
Right.
Yeah.
It also, but it did start a war in Morocco, I will point out, after 30 years of ceasefire, because we recognized the Western Sahara. We allowed them basically to take it back. This has been going on for a long time. We don't have time to get into it, but it was, Morocco had illegally annexed them, and we recognized it and basically got all those hostilities going again. So it made it worse. Things worse in Morocco. Little side effect. Yeah.
Wow. I just picked one at random, but there you go.
Yeah.
Negotiated by Trump and his emissaries, the Abraham Accords reference the Hebrew prophet, who is the namesake of the Abrahamic faiths of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and their title appeals to unity in a region torn by suspicion and violence.
Also genocide.
They are also a major achievement that increased the number of Arab countries that have chosen to abandon decades of envy and enmity and establish formal ties to Israel.
Decades of envy and enmity. Wow, that's a real balance take.
Why does John J. Miller think that he can speak on behalf of those countries? That it's now those countries have abandoned their decades of envy. They could still be envious.
They're just jealous. Has really been the whole source of turmoil in the Middle East.
People of goodwill ought to cheer for the success of the Abraham Accords and wish them to grow and include the likes of Saudi Arabia, Oman, and others. They are the building blocks of peace.
By giving Israel more money to commit genocide, yes. Building blocks of peace.
Soon they may lead to new breakthroughs that were unimaginable just a year ago. There's a chance that Syria's new president, Ahmed al-Sharaa, will seek a relationship with Israel and sign the accords, as Trump has urged him to do.
Oh, well, give him a Peace Prize then. And he's like, yeah, good idea, do that.
Even sheiks in Hebron, the largest city in the West Bank, have expressed an interest in leaving the Palestinian Authority, establishing their own emirate, and joining the accords, according to the Wall Street Journal. The first Arab country to normalize relations with Israel was Egypt. I'm going to do my best, folks. Menachem Begin of Israel and Anwar Sadat of Egypt received the Nobel Prize for their peacemaking in 1978, and President Carter, who hosted their talks at Camp David, received it in 2002, in part for this accomplishment. Jordan followed Egypt in recognizing Israel in 1994, generating Peace Prize buzz, but no award. Relations between Israel and its partners can be rocky, especially due to the savagery of Hamas and Israel's retaliation in Gaza. Yet
retaliation in Gaza.
Important order there.
Yeah, and also, savagery. Cool choice of words.
It's Hamas, sure, but that's the first part. Relations between Israel and its partners, they're rocky because of Hamas's savagery. Yeah, or could it be the genocide that followed after? Could it be more of that?
Yeah, retaliation is that's doing a lot of work there. That's quite a way to.
And it's also just like decades and decades that you're trying to distill in one sentence, like you think you can. It's just pompous. Right. Yet the Abraham Accords and their forerunners have held up. Their participants have expanded trade, investment, military cooperation, athletic competition,
great,
and cultural exchanges. I don't know why that's there. One of the reasons the Abraham Accords made sense in the first place was a shared concern about Iran and its nuclear ambitions. Now, this threat has receded, too, because Trump used decisive American force in an exercise of securing peace through strength.
Yeah, it's all better now.
Yep. It's all better. A more warlike leader than Trump might have wrought catastrophic devastation against Iran for launching indiscriminate missile strikes on Israel, sponsoring Houthi attacks on international shipping in the Red Sea, and patronizing terrorists around the globe as mobs in Tehran chanted "Death to America" at the encouragement of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei.
So we could have nuked them. That's that was an option.
Yeah,
Didn't
that
do
was
it.
an
Well,
option.
so it's a comparative peace prize. Trump relative to some fictional other president that it could have been,
Probably
President
Hegseth.
Camacho or whatever.
Oh, yeah, Pete Hegseth would have done it.
Because he's so much more peaceful. Look at how much more peaceful he was than an imaginary person I just made up.
Yeah.
So therefore, peace prize.
Yeah. Trump's brief bombardment in Iran, however, involved precise targeting and minimal casualties. While much of the world was focused on these momentous events, Trump has also...
This person's saying it was a really peaceful bombing, guys.
Yeah,
You don't understand.
yeah.
You should get the peace prize for how peaceful his bombing was.
Yeah.
Well, it worked for Kissinger. He got it in 1973.
Oh,
Should I
God.
point that out?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Trump has also been pushing for peace in Africa. In June, he brokered a peace agreement between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda, aiming to end a brutal conflict that has cost thousands of lives.
They weren't actually at war, but I guess that's irrelevant.
Oh, interesting. On July 9th, several African leaders endorsed the suggestion that Trump should win the award. Quote, he is now bringing peace back into a region where that was never possible, Bryce Oligui Nguema, president of Gabon, said. Quote, so I believe that he does deserve a Nobel Peace Prize.
Sorry to interrupt. This is my favorite part.
Yes.
This is my favorite part. So we're not going to play the whole video, but there's a video of Trump and he has a hand-picked reporter and he's like, where's my African reporter? It's very much like, remember that time at the rally? He's like, where's my African American?
Do you have that? Where is that? I want to
So
watch
good.
that.
So he brings her up. Yeah, I've got it here. And she has clearly been picked out because he met her 2 weeks before. And he says that pretty clearly. She's been picked out to ask this question. And they go around the table and make all of the leaders answer about whether or not she should get a peace prize. And he's quoting the one who actually says that he should. So the clip I just sent you is starting at 27:10, if you want to get a quick look at his African reporter.
See if I can figure out what this interface is.
It's in the bottom. I know it's weird, but if you go down to the bottom and then do a full screen.
Okay. And 27:10.
27:10.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait. Here we go. Okay.
Was treated very unfairly by his government, and he prevailed.
Boy.
And so congratulations.
Bad makeup
on
day.
that. Really, congratulations. A great job.
Oof. Is he
and you've
sweating?
all done a fantastic job. And so
What's
we'll
up
be
with his
talking to you
nose?
as we have the meal. Do you want to ask any questions, please? Where's my reporter from Africa? There you are. How are you?
Oh, my God.
She's very famous in Africa.
Oh, my
See?
God.
He doesn't know her name, and she's not in the transcript. So you don't know her
He
name.
just keeps pointing at her. It's just...
Yeah, thank you. Miss, I have one question for the African presidents and one question for President Trump. As you can see, Mr. President Trump, all the African presidents are very happy with your efforts to bring peace in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. My question to you is, today you are making history by receiving 5 African presidents and showing the interest of the United States to collaborate and to work close with the African nations. African continent is watching. African youth is watching.
More of a comment
and this
than a
new
question.
approach that your administration is taking to deal with African nations, not only based on help, but in doing business that everybody can win, is really much appreciated for all the Africans. My question is, are you planning, Mr. President, in the future to travel to Africa to see firsthand all those countries in Africa, all those potential that those countries have? And for the African leaders, my question is, as you can see, President Trump is working to bring peace not only in Africa, but also in the world. Are you all considering to nominate President Trump for a Nobel Prize Peace?
And the person next to her is laughing. Like he's
piece.
I got
And he
to
loves this
meet her
question.
2 weeks ago when we had the Congo and Rwanda, and we had some other people up from Africa, and I was the first time.
Up from
but
Africa.
that's very nice. I appreciate the questions. Very nice, actually.
What a surprise, that question.
would you like to? At some point, I would like to go to Africa. Absolutely, we're going to see what the schedule is. But
won't
at
happen.
some point, I would.
So
like
the
to
schedule
do
is.
that.
Yeah, it's
Would
real
you
busy
like to
lately.
give
But
a fast answer, please.
Fast answer from everybody, please. Put the Nobel
would
Prize
everyone
thing.
like to answer the
Oh my
very
God.
important, good question?
So he makes them all answer.
Microphone.
It's so
Is
embarrassing.
it translator or?
This part,
That's
yeah,
what
I
I
think
said.
they're all translated. Yeah, he's going to use the mic.
On soutient cette dynamique.
We are in favor of this dynamic for peace. We are very committed on peace. I am the first head of state who went to Russia and who went to Ukraine both since the start of the war. I held the presidency
Sounds
of
like
ECOWAS.
he's not talking about me.
and
And I'm
Nope.
here.
I
Yep.
went to see
He's
Mr.
fallen
Putin.
asleep.
We spoke.
He's not
for
gonna say he should
4
get a Peace Prize,
hours,
I'll tell
and
you
then I went
that.
to Ukraine.
The next
Well,
guy.
that's
I
fantastic.
spent 12
Next guy
hours on
will.
a train.
Oh, really?
To speak
That's
to
the one who's
President
quoted.
Zelensky. But now the weight of President
the only
Trump
one.
is something else altogether. We are with you. We are behind you to see what we can do to help bring peace back. No one wins when there's war. So you have our support.
The question was.
Bring peace back. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
He's so
Who's
Wrong
next?
answer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President Trump. Thank you for your questions. A Nobel Peace Prize, while I don't see any problem with it, I think that President Trump deserves it for all the efforts that he's worked on. And he brought
Translator
peace
struggling.
back in the SIAC region. That is my region, the region where DRC and Rwanda signed a deal. And so he is now bringing peace back into a region where that was never possible. So I believe that he does deserve a
response to this?
Nobel Peace Prize. That is my opinion on this.
You can see he perked up.
Thank you very much. Very nice.
He's awake again.
Good.
I didn't know I'd be treated this nicely. It's great. We could do this all day long.
Oh my God.
Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
Barf.
And
Enough.
the next guy also gives the wrong answer.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's as much of that as I can take.
Yeah,
You
no.
get
So
that.
what's really funny is and I wanted to play that because that's the only leader from Gabon who actually says that, yes, you should get a Nobel Peace Prize. The other one, the next one is like talking about peace generally and how it's good. The one after
Yeah.
that is like, well, I don't really know how peace prizes work, but I guess, sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
be opposed. Is what he says, literally. And then, the next one
Weird
is like, well, I
setup
guess the jury would
question, yeah.
decide, but yeah. But like, he really just wants them. He was trying to get the one person to say it, and then he got it, and he got his quote for, Mr. Miller to put in the
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah,
So that's how we got
exactly.
here. But this was not like stepping up to the podium and being like, Donald Trump deserves a Peace Prize. What do you
Yeah.
get today?
Yeah.
They didn't write
a
a
press
joint
conference.
letter apropos
yeah.
of nothing.
They
Silly.
pulled it out of him, extracted it from
This
him
is
by a
some
handpicked reporter.
who wants to, get a Fox News show or so. I don't know what she wants, but clearly kissing ass as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then one guy was like, "Yeah, I guess, yeah, is that, sure."
Yeah.
What is he doing? Like, I get that he's there or he's not there. Where is that? Because that's not
That's the White
Africa,
House.
I guess.
He's not going to Africa. That's not gonna
Okay,
happen.
so
We know
he's
that.
brought them there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't go out of his way.
No.
This is what the Peace Prize is about. Yeah, I had some people come over. I sat there
Yep.
while they
Historic.
did whatever. And so
Historic.
give me that Peace Prize.
Yep.
Like I deserve
Yep.
Yeah, and I just, again, these are not, like, Gabon is not at war right now, as far as I know. But, I will mention the thing with Congo and Rwanda that's important. Marco Rubio got that done in June, but they weren't at war. They were having border skirmishes, and, like, the one was funding a militia that was making trouble with the other. Again, and it's not a small thing, but that's the kind of thing that presidents do in every administration. I'm sure you could find,
Right.
like, a couple of border things that Biden helped to do, too. This is not Nobel Peace Prize material. But, yeah, let's keep going.
Trump continued to play the peacemaker on August 8th when the leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan signed a deal at the White House to end more than 3 decades of conflict. Quote, President Trump in 6 months did a miracle, President Ilham Aliyev of Azerbaijan said.
So there's something dirty about this, I can tell for sure, because they renamed a route along that, like the President Trump Peace Route or something. Literally that.
Wow.
And he's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go visit now. I'm so glad that you did this without even asking me if you could do it. Also, this is
Yeah.
something the Biden administration has been working really hard for. So it's, one of those kind of inevitable things. But yeah, let's keep going.
Can Trump now work a new miracle in Ukraine?
No.
Trump has said that Russia would not have invaded its neighbor if he had been president in 2022, and he may be right about that.
No.
Now peace may have to come the hard way, through Western resolve and with American aid, and a recognition that Putin won't be satisfied with anything but a bloody military victory.
What?
Your dirt road. You just figured this out on your dirt road, that Putin won't be satisfied with anything. Like, you just got that in 2025.
Or perhaps...
Hold on. Oh, yeah, might as well finish 2 lines.
Yeah.
Or perhaps Trump will achieve a breakthrough in Alaska. And then maybe he can win the Nobel Peace Prize for bringing peace to the world once again.
Peace to the world once again.
Yes.
A very
like
peaceful
in the
world.
first Avengers movie, he did it. And then the second, like, what are you talking about? Peace to the world. When did he ever?
No.
Your example was some stuff about the Abraham Accords that didn't really, that wasn't bringing peace to the world. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's incredible. I love it. So I just want to read that sentence. Now peace. Let's see. Okay, so it's setting it up. Now Trump has said that Russia would not have invaded its neighbor if he had been president. So that's setting it up like, okay, you know, it's not Trump's fault. Like if he had been president, we wouldn't even be here. So now peace may have to come the hard way through Western resolve and with American aid, and a recognition that Putin won't be satisfied with anything but a bloody military victory.
We knew that.
What does that? Yeah, but what does that mean? Like now,
I don't know.
if
I don't
we
know what any of that
recognize
means.
that, then like, what is that? I actually am genuinely struggling to figure out
Yeah.
how that functions here.
The recognition we have to give Putin whatever he wants, because he's just going to.
That's what it seems like, right?
It really
like,
does. Yeah. Yeah.
Or it seems like he's saying this is why Trump can't get peace, because then the next sentence is, or perhaps Trump will achieve a breakthrough in Alaska. That seems like a far more pessimistic take to end with. You know, it almost sounds like he's saying Trump doesn't realize Putin won't be satisfied with anything but a bloody military victory. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird way to end it.
And Western resolve and American aid to let Putin have whatever he wants, I guess, is, I don't know. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of
because that
maybes.
sentence makes it seem like we need to like help go to war with. Doesn't that say? Okay, that sentence makes it sound like we need to go help Russia fight Ukraine through Western resolve and with American aid and a recognition that Putin won't be satisfied with anything but a bloody military.
So we need to help him get his bloody military victory. We need to get him a bloody military victory, or that means we're going to go in and fight against him, like because he can't be stopped unless he gets a bloody military victory, I guess.
You've just thought this through a lot more than Mr. Miller has.
I know. I can't. This is what a puzzle. I don't know what he's going for here.
Neither does he. Except that he wants a Peace Prize. I mean, this is the thing. It's well known that Donald Trump badly wants a Nobel Peace Prize. He thinks he should get one. And that's why he keeps bringing it up. He brings it up all the time. And he makes people ask him about it. And so, of course, he's got these people out there. And I'm sure this guy wants some kind of job or something, you know.
I want to know how many previous winners of Nobel Peace Prizes did a campaign for it. Like, for your consideration.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Vote me
all the
for
late
Peace
night
Prize.
circuits. Yeah.
Right.
I'm sure MLK, is just like, I want that Peace Prize. Come on.
That Peace Academy, they're tough.
Yeah.
But obviously that did not happen.
What a bold
Alaska
thing to write.
didn't work out.
It's incredible.
And from what I understand too, like Putin started the press conference afterwards and spoke for a very long time. He seemed like completely unfrazzled by there being no agreement. He didn't really care. And Trump spoke for, I think, 2 minutes total. And it sounded like there's some rumors that they were going to be offering like natural resource mining to Russia along the Bering Strait and stuff, like, on Alaska land kind of thing, and open that up for Russia. Obviously, the White House won't confirm that, but that's sort of the rumor mill that I've been hearing. And then we're recording this Monday, August 18th. So this is also the day when Zelensky is meeting with Trump at the White House and joined with a number of European leaders trying to support him.
He's wearing a suit because
that matters. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I disagree with this article.
Yeah.
Guys.
Oh, also, apparently Russia was still carrying out strikes while Putin was meeting with Trump. They just kept bombing.
Yeah.
There was also a moment where Zelensky mentioned that it's very hard to have elections during a war. And Trump was like, oh, interesting. So you can't have elections during a war. Just like noting that away. Let's tuck that away for later. Seemed very interested in that point. So big fan of peace, Donald Trump.
We've Matt's video has gone bad again, but we'll maybe. So, are we about to call it anyway? Should we?
I think
or
that's
do we have
good.
another thing?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Matt's got to go to the video doctor and see what's wrong with this video. I don't know what's going on. We got to figure that out for next time. But yeah, this was really bad. They're not sending their best at the
Globe.
At the Globe. Yeah, what's going on? Why is this happening? Why do we don't need to hear from these people?
The Globe has taken a dive, I will say, in the time that I've lived in Boston in the last 20 years, but this is a new low.
Yeah.
And again, I'm across the street from the Boston Globe right now as I'm recording this. Maybe they're hacking me. I don't know. What's going on? They got into my Wi-Fi.
Could be.
We just don't need this.
No.
Who thinks we need these takes? I don't know why we decided that. It's really bad.
Yeah.
And they're doing the same thing that Times and everybody else does, where they want to try to represent right-wing voices, and this is just the dumbest. Yeah. No, it's not the dumbest they could find. They could certainly find dumber. But mainstream.
Pretty bad.
It's
pretty bad.
Compromising your entire integrity for people who don't read your newspaper. I don't know why they do that, but okay.
Yeah.
It's also just bad. Like you can't. They're not good. They're not well thought out. They're lying about statistics. They're stuff like you don't get to just have an opinion piece because affirmative action. We've decided that because you're right wing, you get to say lies on a paper. Like there should be standards. You should have independent. They always talk about that. When it's exactly what they always think affirmative action is. It's like there should be a standard for writing a newspaper column that's just neutral according to like how good the journalism is, like how well reasoned is it, how good is the writing, how factual is it, and right wingers MAGA people can't pass those tests. It's impossible for them to pass those tests. So they have to come in and they have to help them out. Well, we'll let them write their thing. If they get stuff wrong, it's like, whatever, just let them do it.
I think that's especially egregious when you're talking about, like if you're including statistics or facts or, whatever in your opinion piece, people don't read it and say, well, that's their opinion. Like you're citing it like as if that's an actual metric and it better be right. And it's often not.
Like you get to have a different opinion about what the numbers are.
Right.
Like that's part of my opinion though. I know we're looking at the same study, but I just think that 8 is a 6.
Yeah. And then if anyone happens to read it, then they're going to start parroting that stuff as if that's real and it's not.
And the premise of the first piece is completely, as we talked about, without legal foundation. She's not talking about the legal reason that they were sent in. She's talking about why she thinks it should happen. And the premise of the second piece is an actual joke, like an actual joke. Like, so, I mean, the headline is an Onion headline. I mean, at this point.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Well, that was terrible. Boston Globe, do better.
Yep.
It's not hard to do better than that. Not hard at all.
Find more leading right-wing MAGA intellectuals. Oh, wait. These are them.
Ross Douthat just has to write for every paper. He's the only one that can kind of be a right-winger that's like sort of...
His time is coming, folks. Together. He will be on Vapid Response soon enough.
He is better, but marginally so, yeah. But that does... I've said it before. I know we're getting out of here, but I've said it before. That does create this... fiction where like Ross Douthat is an interesting example because you can't have someone be MAGA and write articles that are factual because it doesn't exist. It doesn't work. Mm-hmm. So what they had to do, and maybe I'm almost talking myself into this, is the thing you have to do, or just don't have them in your paper. That's the thing. You need to just not worry about having all views supplied in your paper. You can just realize that an entire side of the political spectrum has lost the ability to form views that are related to reality. So like, you don't need to write about it. But I'm almost talking myself into maybe this is better than the Ross Douthats of the world, where it's like, well, we're going to find someone who's conservative. They don't support Trump really. And so they have to take on a position that no one else does, because that was for years what they did is like the conservative voice on the New York Times is a conservative who kind of would find a way to like say, yeah, maybe there's more to what Trump's doing than you think, you libs. But also he's not going to support him. And it just, that's even more worthless really, because it's a view that no one holds. None of the right-wing voters agree with him. Like so in a way, like maybe this is better. Maybe we should just see these idiots, and they should just write their stupid things. And maybe that's better than Ross Douthat. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Ross Douthat is speaking for a very small constituency. At least these people.
Tiny.
Yeah.
Probably what we thought more conservatives were like.
Yeah, well, and they used to be
Trump
until
Trump 1.0, and now
those people that listened to him went never Trumpers. Like they you know, it's like the MAGA consolidated to where they don't brook any dissent. So it just doesn't represent anyone meaningful anymore.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, but
yeah. And you can see it in the career trajectory with almost all the people we've looked at of like going from being Reagan people, kind of following the trajectory of the Heritage Foundation of getting more and more MAGA and fascist. That's what's happened. But yeah, we'll keep it coming with another set of these next week.
Yeah, well, this has been Vapid Response. That's a lot of fun. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. If you'd like to check out the show, of course, the podcast, search Opening Arguments anywhere. And also, if you'd like to support us, help, I don't know, we'll buy Matt some more bandwidth. I don't know what we need to do, but we'll figure it out. Patreon.com/law. And you can get a lot awful movies right now. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
We took on Juror Number 2. Why don't you find out whether or not that was a good law movie? Spoiler, it was. I don't know why I was trying to be coy about it, but all good reasons to support the show. Thanks so much, Matt. Thanks so much, Lydia.
Thank
and we'll
you.
see you next time, everyone.
All right.